So behind me right now, I have 275 monster designs, and in this video, I will be going through a few of those designs, from cute monsters to ferocious monsters to scary monsters to just plain weird monsters. So if you're looking for something for your game design, your storytelling, or maybe you just want something to watch while you eat your food, then I hope you enjoy this video, and let's get started. So this fella gives me these old school Greek mythology vibes. You know, we've got this raging bull and then the snakes popping out of its head, almost like a lion mane. Very beautiful, very sleek, but also very, very strong. It's a lovely combination and it's great use by the artist. Also, it seems to be breathing some sort of like green fog. Perhaps it's like a poison breath. The Greeks are quite famous for monsters like the chimera, which is like a fusion of several monsters together. So that's really where I'm getting this source from. Now, next up we have this beautiful dragon. Now, why would I pick this dragon over the thousands of dragons that you can get on Pinterest? Well, mainly it is these almost tusk-like horns. You know, you think typical dragon, you put them up here, that's it, you're done. That's your dragon design. This artist went a little bit different with the dragon design. I love this because they're not just typical tusks. They're not protruding from the mouth, nothing like that. You've just got them coming out of the side, almost tusk-like. I think the whole horn design itself is very nice, very sleek, slender, but this isn't as unique as I would say this was, and combining it all together really frames the face. What's also a little bit different is the dragon wing design. Now, this is a subtle difference because if you think of a typical like pteranodon type wing, it's normally you have the thumb, claw, and then the rest protrude. This would be the wing, but in this one you would have the typical thumb, claw, then you've got this additional bone here and then an extra claw, so it just gives it a little bit extra flair. Anatomically, it is incorrect if you're going off the basis of what we know as evolutionary designs, you know, but this is fantasy. We can suspend our disbelief and go for these funky cool designs, you know, so I really like this one. Now with this one, we're diving into something a little bit smaller, a little bit cuter, and a little bit cartoony. But what I really like about this is the color scheme of it. You know, I think it's got a quirky face. I like this. The face has character. But what I really want to point out is just this dark black color. And then we've got this bright cyan tips on the body here, and this really makes it pop. Now I have another design like this design right here. So as you can see, it's the same color scheme, but it's got a little bit more realism to it. The proportions are more like a typical snake, but those two examples go well together because you can see the difference from a more realistic design to a more cartoon design here, and you can see the consistency in using these common color designs. If you are looking for monster designs for designing your own TCG or board game or video game or whatever you're doing, then think about the color schemes first. Perhaps it can be a different approach than trying to come up with a design of the monster and then changing the colors to match. Look at monsters, find the color schemes that you like, and then go, okay, what can I make with these color schemes and where can I go from there? It's a different avenue of creativity and it could help you with your game design. Hey, just thought I'd quickly break up this video just to remind you to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and don't forget to like the video because it tells me that you're enjoying this content and I will make more videos like this. Thank you very much. Now look how simple these monster designs are. Sometimes you are sitting in front of a computer or in front of a piece of paper and nothing is working. Sometimes you should just start with creating a random shape, and then from there start putting features on and see what comes together. Now these creatures aren't elaborate in color or shape, yet they all seem to have a little bit of character. They're all a little bit different, so it shows that sometimes you don't need a lot to make something that has a more iconic feature. It's like a company logo. They make it simple so it's memorable. So maybe take this away as a little bit of a practice. Get a piece of paper, start with some shapes, and just fill the page full of little monsters like this and see which ones are your favorite. Then from that page of creatures that you like, start looking at the features that you like on that creature, and then you can take those features and start putting them on more elaborate monster designs if that is what you're wanting to do. Or you could stick with that little iconic creature that you've just designed all on your own right there. And then going from the simplest creatures to something a little bit more elaborate. But look at this, we still got the basic shapes here. You could see the artist might want to have started with just a triangle. So they went triangle, we're going to make the triangle a mouth. Now we've got this nice unique feature that we normally don't see in other monsters. Kept it simple here, 2 legs, we didn't bother with arms, it's too much clutter. We want the feature to be the mouth. We don't want arms to distract from what we want our audience to actually see here. So let's have all the focus be on this. Even with the tail is very shrunk down and very minimal because I don't think the artist wanted you to focus on this bit. All the attention is towards this one big feature, and that is something you can do with monsters as well. If you are designing a monster and you want the monster to have lots of amazing things, that can be great, but sometimes you should just pick that one feature and just magnify it. If you want a creature with giant scary claws, maybe make the back legs very small, very minuscule by proportion, because that emphasizes these big scary claws. The same can be done with big eyes if you want them to look cute. You know, you can make everything look small by comparison and they could just have these big adorable eyes. And it doesn't even have to be magnifying one feature. It could be multiplying one feature. The classic one I think of off the top of my head is in like Chinese mythology. You would have the fox with 9 tails. Does this sound familiar? You've probably seen it featured in lots of different things. Probably most popularly in Pokemon, where we have the 9-tails fox. So here is an example of another over-exaggerated feature. So they've taken the tail and they've made it huge. They've made this beautiful feature right here. Now they haven't made the monster itself plain or anything like that, but they have gave it the same design as the tail, so this complements it, but it almost feels like it's still a part of the tail. This thing is just one big tail, and it is a beautiful design. I really love this vibrant like orange and yellow here, then it goes into the greens and blues of like what a typical chameleon would be. So it's got this rainbow of colors. It's very, very beautiful. Now this fella looks like he'd be a cheeky little bugger, you know. He looks like you would find him in your room, you turn around and you go, oh no, he's there, and he would just scurry off and you would hear things breaking, you know. He looks very, very mischievous. And what I really like about him is that he's got all these excess teeth, like he's got rows of teeth here. This is not practical at all. But you know, but he's also got his arms together, so it's kind of saying like he's cute as well. You always see the really cute creatures always holding the arms very tight together like that, just like waiting for food almost. Maybe he's hungry. That's what it's kind of communicating to me. Now this I've had saved for so long now because it is one of the coolest Pokemon fusions I have ever seen. And it comes from Nidoking and Arcanine here. And of course the original sprite collaboration, he looks a little bit derpy, but this artist here has really made it look beautiful. And it's got this like purple, almost, it feels like scales to me. I know maybe there's some scale features there. It's subtle, but I feel like it's a combination of scale and fur, which I quite like, and I would like to incorporate this into more of my monster designs. But it just looks majestic in a way, you know. You're thinking, okay, so is it a reptile? Is it a wolf? Is it a horse type thing as well? Because obviously this big beautiful mane makes me think of a horse. It's a type of chimera with a more subtle transition to it, unlike with the Greeks where they just went, oh, this thing has this, and then suddenly snake tail. You segment any of this, you couldn't define the animal. Now this is something that's just really cute, really beautiful, and what I want to focus on with this is just the color design. Now with butterfly color design, you can just take a look at regular butterflies and look at their color designs. Nature is great at matching some things up really beautifully, and you don't have to always look at the artist's ideas of it. But because we're doing monster designs, I've got some monster designs right here just for us, and you can see like the white with like a bronze trim to it's quite nice. White and gold's quite popular, normally associated when you're doing more like angelic and light type creatures. Tying it in with the green and the purples is quite good, though when you think about Egyptians, they had a lot of blue and gold, so the blue would probably look quite nice here, because this bronzing here you could make a little bit more into the gold side rather than the bronze side, and then have this be a nice vibrant blue. That would really pop. Now this guy is weird, but I also think it's a combination of cute as well. I hope that makes sense. And I'm not 100% sure why I like this so much. Maybe because the shape is just so basic, it's pleasing to the eye. It's just a nice little dome shape here with a little ear pricking out, multiple eyes, which gives it like that weird vibe to it. But the mouth shape as well is quite fun as well. It looks like it's waiting, but maybe it's a little sad, or it's just patient. It's just, you know, as a dog thing, you can also see that its arms are turned into itself, and that's kind of like a shy feature as well. So if you're being an artist, you've got to think about how you are posing your creatures as well. And if you turn the arms in on themselves, it can be seen as like you've got your hands together again. So it's like that small, cute, closed in shyness, where even if you've still got them turned in, but you're extending your elbows out, you're trying to look bigger and you're looking mean. So you can have them turned in and look big and mean, or you can have them turned in and be very meek and so there's lots of ways we can communicate with body language as well through monster designs, and that should not be forgotten. And when I'm talking about action poses here, I'm talking about something like this. It's a nice typical raptor design, a Dakota raptor here, and it is just mid-air, ready to strike. The other one is cowering in fear. It's been struck down. You can see a lot that's happening here. There's a lot of danger happening. There's a lot of excitement happening here, and this engages you. Now, this one is particularly weird, and that is why I love it. So you got these two big front arms, and I don't even think they bothered with back legs in this drawing. Of course, in this one here, you can see that there are some back legs, but this is a different art style. I think this one though is just the two front arms, and then it looks like it's holding this massive power source within its vines. As a plant design, this is absolutely awesome, because with the face, it's not too elaborate as well. It looks almost like a face mask. They haven't even bothered putting a mouth in, which I always think sometimes makes things look even meaner when they've got like no mouth. You imagine it's just a closed mouth, very tense that way, you know, where if I did the same tense glare but I just went, it kind of kills it a bit, you know. If you got a slack jaw, it doesn't work as well. You want that closed mouth, that very tense glare, and I think this is what that is going for right here. So you've just got these very narrow red glowing eyes and then no mouth, because you don't want that distracting you. You just want that intense glare. So overall, as a design, I absolutely love it. They didn't add any excess features. It didn't need the back legs. It didn't need a mouth. It just has these big scary front arms that you can imagine it coming towards you with. And it's got this big power source on the back, so I feel like there's a bit of a story there. It looks powerful. It has everything it needs to have. No bloat, no excess baggage. It is just what it is. Elongated arms. What is it about elongated arms that are creepy? We see it in horror movies, we see it in monster designs like this, and it's just something about just having that arm being extra long and just reaching out and grabbing you. It's just unsettling. So I really like this one for like that main reason. So besides the elongated arms, we notice that there's a lack of eyes. Sometimes I think this design is put into creatures because it makes you harder to read a creature. You don't know if the creature's looking at you, if there's no eyes. You know, you just like, you see something and it like looks towards you and you go, is it looking at me? And then it kind of like turns its head and smiles. And then comes at you and you go, oh, it can see me. Even though it doesn't have eyes, you couldn't tell if it was watching you or not. And there's something about that is particularly creepy, because you don't even know if you are being hunted. So use that to your advantage with designs. It just seems to be the way to go with monster designs. There's something built into us as human beings that say, I don't like this. So with that, I think we are done with looking at monster designs today. There are many more monster designs in this, so check out the link in the description below to look at all 275 monsters. But that is me done for the day, so like the video and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.